Hey there, I'm Mark, in affiliation with Spectrum Pulse, and we're heading into the holidays with more posthumous Juice WRLD, and it's Billboard BREAKDOwn. I don't remember. And here I thought this week would be much quieter as the year winds down, especially as it doesn't seem like the album bomb for GNX by Kendrick Lamar is really going anywhere. But then I remembered we got another Juice WRLD posthumous album, where quite frankly this sort of grave robbery has shot the event horizon of being repulsive. I don't think there's anything else outside of any surprise releases for the rest of the calendar year, but I also think Kendrick likely stepped on any other big names trying it, so I might have some breathing room, fingers crossed, before the holidays. But this still was a modestly busy week, mostly as a factor of the holiday season, and look no further than our top 10, where, as I expected, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey is back at number 1. Look, this is not surprising. It happens at least once a year. In between the streaming and the radio traction, plus YouTube, it almost seems inevitable, as do the big advancements right behind it for Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee up to number 2, and Last Christmas by Wham at number 3. But holding steady right behind them, thanks to some great streaming and of course the memes, is TV Off by Kendrick Lamar featuring Lefty Gunplay at number 4. And this is a bit of an odd case because they actually did ship it to radio, but I think with the holiday release windows, I don't exactly see it making huge inroads in the next month or so unless it holds traction. And that's kind of tough to predict when we have right after it Jingle Bell Rock by Bobby Helms at number 5. The holidays aren't going away. Now thankfully Kendrick's holding up the next 2. Luther with SZA at number 6, which also got shipped to radio, and I can see this having more longevity with the pop crossover, and I got no complaints because the song is great, and Squabble Up at number 7, still riding off of that video. Now this puts a bar song Tipsy by Shaboozey in a bit of an odd place at number 8, because despite really strong sales and radio dominance, it's now firmly on the downswing, and the question will be how strong it remains after the holiday glut, if it remains at all. Paradoxically, I think Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars at number 9, it has a real shot to overtake it, or at least last. It plays a bit better to adult alternative radio, and while it suffered an airplay drop-off and couldn't quite recover enough streams, I could actually see this lasting over the holidays. And speaking of which, A Holly Jolly Christmas by Burl Ives broke through and held at number 10. Now we got our losers and our dropouts, and if there is a way to purge the major hits of the year, the combination of a lingering album bomb and some big holiday returns, that'll do it. As we had major songs exiting the charts this week: Lies, Lies, Lies by Morgan Wallen, Wildflower by Billie Eilish, Million Dollar Baby by Tommy Richmond, Guy for That by Post Malone and Luke Combs, Two Hands by Tate McRae, Diet Pepsi by Addison Rae, Am I Okay by Megan Maroney, Shake That Ass Twerk Song by Boss Mandilo, and Apple by Charlie XCX. And we did get a lot of losers as well, albeit the majority coming from Kendrick Lamar at the very top, so let's handle those first. Whacked Out Murals at 29, Hey Now with Dodie 6 at 32, Dodger Blue with Wally the Sensei, C at 7X and Roddy Ricch at 41, Reincarnated at 46, Peekaboo with AZ Chike at 48, Man at the Garden at 52, Heart Part 6 at 54, Gloria with SZA at 59, and GNX with Hit a J3, Young Threat and Peso at 67. Now from there, well, not exactly a great week for Sabrina Carpenter, as Please 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 fell to 50 and Juno hit 96, but the rest are kind of all over the place. What You Know About Me by Glorilla and Sexy Red continued down to 39. Same for I Am Not Okay by Jelly Roll at 49, Sailor Song by Gigi Perez at 51, Que Pasaria by Raul Alejandro and Bad Bunny at 73, Saint Chroma by Tyler the Creator and Daniel Caesar at 79, Disease by Lady Gaga way down at 89, 25 by Rod Wave at 94, and High Road by Zach Bryan at 97. As for the rest, I Never Lie by Zach Top lost some steam at 71. I'm Gonna Love You by Cody Johnson and Carrie Underwood at 75. Heart of a Woman by Summer Walker at 76. Dos Dias by Tito Double P and Pesa Pluma at 85. Think I'm in Love with You by Chris Stapleton featuring Dua Lipa at 93. And Close to You by Gracie Abrams hit 100. And okay, what's filling up the gaps? Well, as expected, when we set aside All Girls Are the Same 2, Insecure by the late Juice WRLD and Nicki Minaj coming back to 78, the big story here is holiday music, so let's start off with the returns. Two versions of It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas are back, with Michael Bublé's at 24 and Perry Como's superior version at 31. Run Rudolph Run by Chuck Berry at 36, Jingle Bells by Frank Sinatra at 37, Christmas Baby Please Come Home by Darlene Love at 38, White Christmas by Bing Crosby at 40, Deck the Halls by Nat King Cole at 43, and Here Comes Santa Claus by Gene Autry at 44. And outside of the top 10, there are holiday gains here too. It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams at 11, Let It Snow by Dean Martin at 13, Santa Tell Me by Ariana Grande at 19, Underneath the Tree by Kelly Clarkson at 20, The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole at 22, Sleigh Ride by the Ronettes at 23, and Feliz Navidad by Jose Feliciano at 25. The only non-Christmas gains were from, well, new arrivals from last week, and neither were especially good, with Ma Milieu Ennemie by Stromae and Palm at 69, and Gang Baby by Eneli Choppa at 83. I'm imagining the folks who actually listen to the latter around the holiday season, and I can't help but chuckle a little bit. I think Eneli Choppa might have broken something very deep within me. Concerning. But anyway, we are now on to our list of our new arrivals here. But before we have to deal with, well, the whole Juice WRLD thing, where sadly there were just few enough to avoid the album bomb stipulation. Number 99, Winter Ahead by V and Park Hyo Shin.
When the autumn rain returns, don't you wanna say you'll stay?
So I tend to be a little more forgiving of V in some of his more mature and restrained cuts that managed to chart. And in this case, following a previous Christmas song entry a year or so back, he pulled on an interesting collaborator in Park Hyo Shin, a solo Korean pop star from the 2000s who after his service took a long hiatus before changing management, and that got him looped into a fraud case of all things, and then putting out one last album in 2016, where ever since then he's been putting out one-off singles and theater productions. And here, you know, I actually quite like this. A nice bit of restrained jazz pop with a bit of a Baby It's Cold Outside vibe, but none of the residual creepiness around that song, featuring some nice horns, fluttery pianos, touches of strings, and gentle live drums, with some truly excellent chemistry between both singers. Although I gotta say it, in terms of pure charisma and poise, Park Hyo Shin is on a different tier. I really like his voice. And there's not really a lot to say beyond that. It's very much in the holiday staple lane, but hey, I'd rather listen to this than Baby It's Cold Outside, or hell, a lot of modern Christmas music. I'll call that a plus. Very good song, worth a shot. Number 95, Cuffed by Juice WRLD.
2 perkies now, I'm fucked up, someone get me up. Just made some millions, G-Money said it ain't enough. So I'll make 20 more M's, we gon' count it up.
Okay, listen, the one saving grace about the 5 Juice WRLD songs that charted this week, just skirting below my album bomb stipulations, is that there are no other artists outside of his producers and management that are attached to them embarrassing themselves. That, combined with the reality that it's largely just the beginning of the album, has me thanking any higher power for any small blessings. In any case, I don't want to give them that much time or dignity, so if all this feels a little abbreviated or perfunctory, you understand why. So here we got a song first previewed back in late 2018 that first leaked in 2021, and somehow in the reworking of it all, since they didn't manage to get the over-compressed percussion and the vocal leads mixed all that well, with barely any backing melody to speak of. Benny Blanco clearly putting in the bare minimum effort here, as Juice WRLD runs through girls, drugs, and guns, where he tries to accentuate that he has a girl, even as he's nailing your girl, and slipping into this double time on the second verse with that charming lyric, chopper masturbating, it'll beat you like meat. So yeah, no, not good. Let's move on to number 91, KTM Drip by Juice WRLD. Where in this case, we got a song that was first teased in early 2019, leaked in 2022, and somehow in the intervening time, the vocal mastering remains as tinny and compressed as ever. Yeah, the piano line behind the trap percussion is a little bit more defined, but is that enough to really get behind Juice WRLD's celebration of the KTM dirt bikes where he's worried about falling off of them, and then fucking your bitch in so many different ways? Most notably to throw her aside and require that you take her to the dentist because her jaw is hurting. naturally. Now, I will give him a modicum of credit that Juice WRLD is asking for these girls' consent before sex. Low fucking bar, I know, but I don't really think that compensates for ordering bitches like they on the menu, outright selling a hoe, one of his girls shooting someone's balls off, dumping any girl that says she loves him, including the white girl whose racist dad he just cussed out, and then referencing Tekashi 6ix9ine. Even if you just take this as the shallow, juvenile debauchery that it is, it's not witty, it's not clever, it's not even interesting at this point. It blows holes in a legacy you would think they would want to preserve. So yeah, this is pretty bad. Next, number 90, Messy by Lola Young.
You told me get a job and you asked where the hell I've been, and I'm too perfect, so I open my big mouth. I want to be me, is that not allowed?
I'll admit I'm a little bit surprised that of all the songs from Chromacopia that had residual staying power, Like Him with Lola Young was one of them. But if it means she's getting some charting traction on her own, I certainly was not about to complain. She's been making a name for herself with 2 albums thus far the past 2 years. Now, this is from her second album. It's got some viral success, and you know what? I don't know what I was expecting, but I like this a decent bit. The brittle guitars and the sinuous bass that coils around the groove, and a pretty restrained solo accented by the gauzy synths, and the tight vocal overdubs give me a little bit of an Olivia Rodrigo feel, but with more jagged, angular frustration, willing to get a bit more sultry, but frustrated and raw. And that kind of makes sense for the song of this embittered relationship, where she rips into a partner who finds every contradictory label to attach to her, and she's trying to fight through all the gaslighting. She knows that she is flawed and occasionally on the very brink, but she doesn't need the lecture or the petulance from this lazy asshole. The line that really struck with me came on the hook, telling her to get a job and then wondering where the hell she was during the day. That sort of thing only happens from the kind of douchebags that have never held down something stable in their lives, but loves to lecture everybody on it. Very reality bites in that moment. In other words, yeah, I don't know where Tyler the Creator found her, but this getting on my radar is a huge net positive. It's a really strong song. Yeah, I like this a lot. Number 84, Christmas Magic by Laufey.
You must remember Christmas magic. Christmas magic is here at home.
So I remember when I reviewed Bewitched late last year, and I said the album really fit that holiday vibe. Here comes Laufey to cash in with the most obvious check of her career with one of those stupid Amazon exclusives. It's not her fault. Amazon is just really annoying for this every goddamn year. Now, thankfully, I found a bootleg, and yeah, this kind of breaks my heart a little bit. Because this sort of song should be a slam dunk. It's a cute little original song about the magic of the holidays. Laufey certainly has that old-fashioned jazzy presence in order to make it work, but in the grand tradition of Amazon originals not having the slightest trace of subtlety or restraint, they gave her this big brass jazzy arrangement that's got none of the character or composure to match her, and certainly not a great production budget. It's loud, it's oversold. Outside of the horns, the mix just doesn't sound that good. It really sounds like she's competing with it, and while I'm sure it's gonna work for some sort of Hallmark movie looking to class it up a little bit, I really did expect better. Maybe just a better arrangement or production might make this work, but yeah, with what we got, not exactly a fan. Really, we deserve better. Number 80, The Party Never Ends by Juice WRLD.
Parky tearing me apart. Yeah, tell them drugs to play their part. Yeah, let the party start.
Okay, 3 more Juice WRLD songs. This is the album opener that remixes an unreleased track that first was teased in 2021, then leaked earlier this year. And look, it's barely even a song, it's an intro. Max P pulls some hype man shit as Juice WRLD raps against a badly mixed grainy synth, probably closer to rage music, a scene that was largely nascent before Juice WRLD died, certainly not one he was that close to. And after one hook, we get some even grainier vocal leads on the outro as the song plays out against some muted piano pianos, and nothing is really said beyond taking drugs in order to get hyped. But again, honestly, just an intro. There's barely enough here to get that annoyed with. I mean, it's not good, but I'm not going to care about it either. Let's move on. Number 65, Misfit by Juice WRLD.
Heart still hurt like a wristlet, oh. I don't fit in, I'm a misfit, oh. First thing on my mind is to get rich, oh.
Alright. It looks like this is a song that didn't actually leak years ago, and yet maybe it should have, because with that canned, rickety ukulele and the sloppily mixed bass and the weedy synth and the painfully compressed vocal lead, someone could have told them this sounds like garbage. But hey, there's actually more of a melodic hook here, where Juice WRLD juxtaposes some shallow alienation alongside his girl with the same stock flexing and drug abuse that does not make him sound like a misfit at all. Everyone else talks like this. And I can't be the only one who finds it extremely tacky and bad taste that in the first verse there's a reference to nearly overdosing on Xanax around nearly missing a plane flight. I'm sorry, that's not a haunting parallel. It's rank exploitation of a kid who was addicted and now sees his legacy milked for its last pennies. So yeah, it doesn't have Juice WRLD's worst lines, but this is the one that feels legit-ass gross. Please, for the love of God, skip it. And finally, number 56, Empty Out Your Pockets by Juice WRLD.
Chameleons, they change for some change. The days ain't the same, switch for the fame. Louis Vuitton, I'm in my bag, and my memory gone, I've been hurt. I ride like electric guitars, I be raging. Count big knots like yellow pages.
I was a bit surprised that this was the Juice WRLD song that debuted this high, but when you recognize the song is barely 2 minutes long, with the hook and a single verse, and probably has the most competent mastering on the whole project, and ergo the best shot of crossover to go viral, and it was tucked away as the one deluxe track, it makes kind of a little bit of sense. And from there, yeah, you get a piano line against decently mastered trap percussion for once, while the song references rocking like electric guitars, which doesn't even make sense as Juice WRLD talks about flexing and shooting people. You know, precisely the least interesting element of his legacy. Now, the one okay part of the song are the overdubs on the verse, but they leave me thinking that it was probably the only moment where there was any kind of polish in the song's creation before Juice WRLD died. And if that was it, seriously, this was the third posthumous Juice WRLD album, the first in 3 years, and if anything, the tarnish around that legacy feels all the more flagrant. Everyone involved in this creation should repent if they want any shot at heaven. In other words, let the poor kid rest already. And yeah, that's the week. At least the best and the worst fall out really fast, with Messy by Lola Young getting the top spot, and Winter Ahead by V and Park Hyo-shin getting the honorable mention. Now, the worst of the week, yeah, honestly, it's a Juice WRLD toss-up here. But I think Misfit pissed me off the most by actually being catchy and really tastelessly gross, rather than this stupid juvenile excess of KTM Drip getting the dishonorable mention. At least that one I kinda get the audience at the worst. Now next week, again, I'm really hoping for a slowdown here. Stay tuned for that. But until then, I'm Mark. You're watching Billboard Breakdown, affiliated with Spectrum Pulse. And I'll see you next time.